very interesting disease. I'll share you some important and very interesting cases, short cases. So this is a 54-year-old lady, vague upper abdominal pain. On examination, there was a big mass on the left side from left costal margin of the and up to the anterior superior iliac spine. Ultrasound showed a cystic mass in relation to pancreas. We just thought there's a large cystic tumor intra-abdominal cystic lesion. A hydrated serology first done, which was negative. This was the CT scan. I want you to orient. These are coronal sections. This is the liver. This is the pancreas. This is the colon. And you can see this large cystic mass. This is the spleen. This is the stomach. And this is a large cystic mass, which you can see, and a small mass cystic lesion in the pancreas. This is the pancreas. So it is a large cystic lesion in association or relation to pancreas growing downwards. This is a sagittal section. You can see the spine here. This is the kidney. This is the pancreas. This is the liver. And again, this is a large cystic lesion. So you can understand the relationship of the pancreas. So this is in relation to the pancreas. So this is a differential diagnosis. Either it is a simple cyst, it is one of the cystic lesions which we call a serous cyst adenoma, or it is a mucinous cystic neoplasm, or a solid pseudopapillary endocrine neoplasm called SPEN. Anyway, the final diagnosis would come only when we remove it and histological diagnosis. So because of the large lesion symptoms, patient underwent a surgical exploration. Now this is the operative picture. Let me orient. This side is the head side of the patient. This is the foot side. This is the stomach, which is lifted up. This is the transverse colon. This is a part of the pancreas. And you can see this large cystic lesion which is present here. So the patient underwent a distal pancreatectomy. Distal part of the pancreas was removed along with the spleen. And you can see the specimen. This is the part of the pancreas. This is the spleen. And the large cystic lesion which was removed in total. And the histology was a very interesting case of cystic lymphangioma. It is a very unusual lesion, and we have published this as a large cystic lymphangioma of the pancreas. Just a pathological curiosity, unusual case. Aspiration of this fluid is not the treatment. Removal is. Recurrence is rare with that, and no additional treatment is required. So just an interesting case of a cystic lesion of the pancreas. Another case, a 25-year young lady, non-specific pain abdomen, ultrasound was done, a cystic lesion in the body and tail of pancreas. A CECT naturally was done, and this is the CT scan. This is the axial cuts. Again, to orient, this is the posterior spine, kidneys on both sides. This is the liver, so this is the right side. You can see the splenic vein, part of the pancreas, and this, you see this grayish lesion. This is the cystic solid lesion which you can see in the relationship to the tail of the pancreas. And this is the spleen. Now this is the coronal section. Again, the liver, the superior mesenteric and portal vein. This is the lesion which you can see, spleen, stomach. So this is a lesion in relation to the distal part of the pancreas. So this is a solid cystic lesion of the pancreas in a young woman. The differential diagnosis is either a mucinous cyst adenoma or a SPEN, or a solid cystic pseudopapillary endocrine neoplasm. So this is adenocarcinoma is unlikely. It could be a neuroendocrine tumor or a SPEN tumor. So we did a serum chromogranin levels, which if elevated would indicate a neuroendocrine tumor. In this case, it was normal. A CA19-9, which is a tumor marker, which may tell whether it is an adenocarcinoma. It may be elevated in that. So we have ruled that out, and most likely it is a SPEN, or a solid papillary endocrine neoplasm. So the patient was taken up for a laparoscopic distal pancreatectomy and splenectomy. So we do this procedure by laparoscopy of 4 small, one 10 millimeter, other 5 millimeter incisions And now this is to orient laparoscopically. This is the liver that you are seeing. This yellowish thing is the pancreas, and this is the body of the pancreas. Head is towards this side. And this is the lesion that you can see. This is the splenic artery which has been looped. This is the splenic vein. This all we need to loop because these two artery and vein are ligated. Then we divide the pancreas with a stapler. This is the endo-GIA stapler. So you can see that endo-GIA stapler, these clips are on the splenic vein and these clips are on the splenic artery. And this is the transected end of the pancreas. And this is the tumor which has been removed out. So this is the tumor, this is the cut end of the pancreas and the spleen. So this is, and the histology of confirm that this is a solid pseudopapillary endocrine neoplasm, which is the characteristic finding of this kind of a gross tumor, pseudopapillary projections on pathology with this myxoid stroma. So this is a classical pseudopapillary endocrine neoplasm. So generally it happens in young women, mean age of around 30 years. Generally, though they don't invade into adjacent structures, but may occur. Rarely metastasis may be present, but it is not very common. A classic case is a well-encapsulated tumor in a young female. You should make a diagnosis of SPEN until proven otherwise. And the consensus is to resect these lesions. They experience a long-term survival after surgery. Even if occasionally there are some lymph node metastases, surgery should be done. It's not a contraindication. And no additional treatment required, although they need long-term follow-up. Let me now tell you a final case of some very interesting cystic neoplasm. A young male or a middle-aged male, diabetes, hypertension, presented with pain abdomen, weight loss, and generalized weakness in the last 6 months. He had previous surgery. Now, when he presented this time, he had severe pedal edema. There was no jaundice, no organomegaly, no tenderness. So main thing is anemia and severe pedal edema. His hemoglobin was 10 and albumin was 1.6 gram per cent. On ultrasound, there was a large lesion, heterogeneous mass lesion in the epigastric region with a huge cystic component. An endoscopy was done, which showed a ulcerated polypoidal friable lesion in the second part of duodenum. And a biopsy of that showed a mucin-producing adenomatous lesion. So a CT and MR was done. I'll show you the pictures. So this is the axial section of a CT scan, kidney again, spine, liver. This is the gallbladder. And you can see that this is the large tumor which they had seen. And there are some solid components which are enhancing, and there is a mucinous component like this. This you see as a chink is the portal vein. This is the celiac axis. And this is the coronal representation of the same. And as you can see, this is the gallbladder. This is the superior mesenteric vein. And this is the large tumor over here. With, you can see this is the infiltration in the superior mesenteric vein. And this is the MR of this. And you can see this bile duct is dilated with obstruction in this area. And all this whitish thing is the cystic component of this large tumor. So we made a diagnosis of mucinous cystic neoplasm of the head of the pancreas, most probably a malignant component of this. Now we had several problems with this patient. His diabetes was uncontrolled. We had to assess his cardiac evaluation, and his albumin was very low. As you can see, it was 1.6 gram per cent. He had pedal edema. So patient was in poor nutritional status. So he was admitted, he was managed with high protein diet, pancreatic enzyme supplementation, IV albumin was administered. So edema improved, albumin levels improved with this. So very critical part is the preparation of these patients. These patients cannot tolerate the operation we are planning to do. So finally, when he had improved, we decided that he is fit to undergo a Whipple's operation, which is a Whipple's pancreatic odontectomy. When we operated, there was a large tumor from the head of the pancreas. This is one technical finding, that the right hepatic artery was arising from the superior mesenteric artery, which is a variant we see in 20% of cases. And what is important is it goes through the head of pancreas, and when we are doing the Whipple, there is a real risk of damaging this artery. So we have to be important to know that this is the anomaly. The tumor was infiltrating the portal vein, and therefore we decided that that needs to be resected. And there were lymph nodes along the uh, pancreatic area which needed to be removed. So we did a Whipple pancreatic odontectomy. We resected the portal vein and anastomosed it. And as you saw that this patient has several significant problems. Albumin was low, hemoglobin was low. So in order to take care of if the patient has complications, we did a feeding jejunostomy so that during or if there is a complication, we can manage enteral nutrition. So I'll show you, these are the operative pictures. Let me orient you. This is the head side. The top part of the picture is the head side. This is the foot side. And this is the right side where the surgeon is standing. So this is the liver that you can see. This is the head of the pancreas and duodenum, and it has been dissected out. You can see this long tubular structure. Is this the portal vein, superior mesenteric vein? And you can see the tumor is adherent here. We cannot separate it from there. This is the kind of the neck of pancreas. This is the distal part of the pancreas. This is the replaced right hepatic artery. So, just it is interesting for you to see what we see during surgery and just get an idea of the operative field. So now you can see we have resected from here, cut the vein from here, and anastomosed it. So this is where we have joined it back again. This is that replaced right hepatic artery. So normally the hepatic artery would go towards this. This is the common hepatic artery, and this here goes the left hepatic artery. The right hepatic artery should come from here, but it is going behind the portal vein to the superior mesenteric artery, and the head was here. So we had to preserve this. That's the increased technicality of the resection. And this is the operative, the specimen. And you can see this whole specimen. And this is the portal vein segment which has been resected. And as you can see, this gelatinous uh, content of the tumor, which indicates it's a mucinous tumor. So this is classically a mucinous cyst adenocarcinoma of the head of the pancreas. So patient was treated in ICU, aggressive physiotherapy, LFT continued to be normal, albumin improved. He was started on feeding jejunostomy. We do a drain fluid amylase to see whether there is any pancreatic leak. And finally, this patient was discharged with no complications after 12 days. The key feature of this patient is diagnosis. Understanding patient needs a lot of rehabilitation and preparation. Preparing this patient for a complex surgery performed in difficult circumstances, and a good result eventually. And this was done a couple of years back, and patient is under follow-up, no recurrence, and he's doing absolutely well. He works in Middle East, and he's well over there. And this is the result when we resect the portal vein. Patients, though are advanced disease, but they have good 1 year and 3 year survival given the scenario of pancreatic tumors. And in cystic tumors, the outcome is much better than the run-of-the-mill adenocarcinoma of the pancreas. So pancreatic head resections or Whipples can be performed, and we have done that consistently with very, very low mortality. We have good preoperative planning and preparation for these patients, and we can resect veins if they are required with minimal morbidity and mortality. So a quick summary now for you. If you see a cystic tumor of the pancreas, first thing you have to see is, as I told you, it is common in women. You have to see what is the age. If it is a young woman, less than 30, a daughter category, it is SPEN, the diagnosis, more often than not. If it is a mother, that means 30 to 50 years, it is usually a mucinous cystic tumor. If it is a grandmother, more than 60 years, and there is a cystic tumor, it is a serous cyst adenoma. This is a rule of thumb. There, of course, so if you remember, cystic lesion, young woman, what can it be? Old lady, what can it be? What is important is, I'll tell you, serous cyst adenoma doesn't need surgery. It's only observation. All others need surgery. If you do the test and it is located, the tumor is located in the head and neck, then it is either a serous cyst adenoma or a side branch that I am not going into. But body and tail region, it is usually a mucinous lesion or a spen. So these are just quick reckoners for us in the outpatient, that if you see a patient, age, and I'll show you, this is the algorithm we follow. Cystic lesion in pancreas, we have to rule out a pseudocyst. That's a common cystic lesion. So history of pancreatitis, that kind of lesion with other associated things, you can always make a diagnosis of pseudocyst. If it is not a pseudocyst, then see whether the patient has symptoms or not. If there are symptoms in whatever be the cystic lesion, they need treatment, and treatment is surgery. If there are no symptoms, or if there is a lesion which is 3 to 4 centimeter size, but it is a serous cyst adenoma, how do you make that? They have typical radiological features. So as you can see, this is the image of a serous cyst adenoma. We call this as spoke in wheel appearance. So you can see the central scar and spokes all around. You can see an MR, beautiful picture of the central scar and this bright spoke-like things around. This is classically a serous cyst adenoma. And if it is a serous cyst adenoma, it doesn't need surgery, only observation. All other lesions, and if this is more than 4 or 5 centimeter, they need surgery. So this is a simple algorithm to follow in OPD. Then there are other complexities about diagnosis in various situations, and I'm not going into that. So take this as a rule of thumb to how to look at a cystic lesion in pancreas.